On April 3rd, a law graduate from China University of Political Science and Law who works in Chongqing shared her difficult situation in a video.
我刚下班，我老板跟我说，我的社保从我的
I just got off work, and my boss told me that my social security would be deducted from my salary. My original salary was 2,500 yuan, but after deducting the 1,800 yuan social security, I was left with only a few hundred yuan. I work 22 days a month, which means my daily salary is only divided 800 by 22, which is just over 30 yuan. The graduate went on to explain that paying for social insurance is a requirement if she wants to have her intern lawyer certificate. Without the insurance record, she cannot become an intern lawyer, and ultimately she can't become a professional lawyer. She pointed out that daily subway expenses alone cost her 12 yuan, and she must also cover her own meals. It feels like she's paying to go to work. She also shared the tough reality of China's legal industry. Lawyers need work experience, and competition for government jobs is to become a judge or prosecutor, one needs to have a graduate degree. Even when trying to enter law firms, many face low salaries or cannot even afford basic social insurance, making it impossible to earn a lawyer's certificate. This graduate said that right now, she's relying on savings from her tutoring job and financial support from her grandparents to get by. She has almost no money left. Her situation is not unique. In China, the gap between the rich and the poor is widening. There's a saying circulating online in China. 50 million people have never had a cup of coffee, and 900 million have never been on a plane. These numbers raise the question, what kind of country is China becoming? The job market in China is extremely competitive. Recently, China National Nuclear Corporation, CNNC, a large state-owned enterprise that researches nuclear military technology, announced a campus recruitment plan for 8,000 positions this spring. However, they received nearly 1.2 million resumes, which means 10% of this year's 12 million graduating students have applied to CNNC. This news sparked widespread discussion online. Many people reacted with frustration, saying, "Is this supposed to be good news? The competition is so intense, and there are too many people unemployed." Others commented, "How can they even promote this?" Some felt that the suffering of job seekers shouldn't be used as a boast by companies. The CNNC later deleted the post. This year, the number of new graduates is a record-breaking 12.2 million, and many netizens worry that 2025 might be the toughest year for job hunting. Not being able to find a job will push more people into poverty. One netizen posted a video saying that the employment situation for young people in Tianjin is currently really tough.
36岁在天津，已经找不到工作了。这是今年我身边啊。
A 36-year-old undergraduate in Tianjin can't find a job anymore. He's one of the many unemployed people I know this year. After losing his job, he lowered his standards but still couldn't find a stable job. He interviewed with 6 companies. Half of them were scammers. One offered a driver position with a 7,000 yuan monthly salary, but required the candidate to bring their own car worth 200,000 yuan. Another was a sales company offering a 1,500 yuan base salary with no severance after 3 months. He also interviewed for a position as a live streaming host, where the requirement was 500,000 followers and the monthly salary was 10,000 yuan. This is the absurd reality at Tianjin, a first-and-a-half-tier city in 2025.
看到网上有一个说法，说现在中国的工资已经重回3000一个月的时代。
I saw a statement online saying that wages in China have returned to the 3,000 yuan a month era. At first, I was skeptical, thinking it was impossible, especially since it's already 2025. She then shared the experience of her neighbor's daughter, a 26-year-old teaching training graduate. She worked as a janitor in a public hospital, doing 24-hour shifts for just 2,500 yuan a month. Due to the intense work pressure and low pay, she quit. Now she's preparing for the civil service exams, but found that even if she passes, her starting salary will only be around 3,500 yuan. The blogger sighed, admitting that in some regions of China, wages have indeed fallen back to the 3,000 yuan a month era. This harsh reality is a blow to many young people, leaving them confused and helpless. According to statistics, nearly 600 million people in China earn less than 1,000 yuan a month. This figure was first mentioned by former Chinese Premier Li Keqiang in 2020 and has yet to improve. Another set of online data shows that 85% of households in China have an annual income of less than 50,000 yuan. $6,850, with 936 million people earning less than 2,000 yuan a year. While these numbers may be exaggerated, they reflect an undeniable fact: the income level of China's lower class is far from enough to support a decent life. Life at the bottom of society in China is even harder than we can imagine. A blogger who was once a core executive at a listed company said,
就这么多人艰难地支撑着，仅仅是为了活着。
So many people are struggling just to survive, and they can't even talk about living. Many people, for the sake of their pride, don't dare to admit their low income.
Now let's watch a video filmed by the blogger.
这是一家贫困户，特别贫困。
This is a very poor family, and they have 5 children, and this is a house they rent. This is a kitchen, this is the wardrobe, and this is the bed they sleep on. This is the rice they eat, and the cooking pot. It really breaks my heart to see this.
Another blogger in a remote mountain area of China interviewed a local girl about her living situation.
我一个星期只给我20块生活费。
I only get 20 yuan a week for living expenses.
Is it enough?
Sometimes it's enough, sometimes it's not.
How long does it take for you to walk back from school?
2 to 3 hours. If you walk fast, it takes 2 hours. If you're slow, it takes 3 hours.
That's pretty far, and this mountain is high. Even if I drive, it takes over an hour.
From their conversation, we can tell the girl is likely a left-behind child. Her parents probably work elsewhere to make a living, leaving her in the mountain village. She has to walk 2 to 3 hours each day to and from school. With just 20 yuan a week, she can barely buy school supplies and food, but it's not enough for any unexpected needs. These left-behind children in mountain areas struggle to meet even their basic needs, let alone receive a good education or change their fate. A child from a poor family during a street interview said,
我又觉得卫生巾很贵，会给家里增加负担。
I think sanitary pads are expensive, and they add to the burden on my family, so I can afford to change one throughout the day. Another blogger shared her experience.
我今天下班的时候连打车的钱我都舍不得。
When I finished work today, I couldn't even afford the taxi fare because I only had a few thousand yuan left, so I rode a shared bike back. After 2 hours of riding, my legs felt like they weren't even mine anymore. When I got to the supermarket downstairs, I wanted to buy strawberries. They were 15 yuan, which isn't expensive, but I couldn't afford them. I can't even buy a good sanitary pad now. The scenes on the street are equally heartbreaking. A female blogger shared,
我刚才就赶急，就是我擦肩而过一个人，他突然停下来了。
I saw someone picking up discarded oranges at the market. He felt embarrassed to be seen by me, so he pretended to smoke. After I walked away, he quietly picked them up. She sighed and said, At that moment, I felt really bad. Although my life isn't perfect either, it's still tough, and it really breaks my heart to see how hard it is for everyone. There was also footage showing sanitation workers picking up leftover food to stave off hunger, and young people searching through garbage bins for food. When they found some snacks, they joked, "This is communist food." Other footage showed young people picking up discarded vegetable leaves. This scene raises the question, how can such a survived reality be so far from the image promoted by the Chinese Communist Party? In March 2025, a post about a box of rice with one green vegetable went viral. It contained just one green vegetable on top of white rice, priced at 3 yuan or 2.1 yuan after an evening discount. Some joked that it was the most miserable meal ever, but the comment section was flooded with real stories. One netizen said, "When I was unemployed, I relied on this box lunch to get through a month. A little pickled vegetable made it a full meal." Another said, "I buy this kind of meal every day, and the money I save goes towards my child's tuition." The single green vegetable meal has become more than a symbol of poverty. It's a reflection of the survival struggles faced by countless people at the bottom of society. In some cities, the pressure to survive is even more evident. A blogger complained about Yantai City. "This is my least favorite city, a place with high costs and low income. The signs of consumption downgrade are very obvious. People say Yantai has become very poor in recent years. How poor is Yantai? Let me put it this way. How many people go after discounted vegetables at the supermarket after work? How many people walk 2 kilometers just to buy eggs that are 2 cents cheaper per kilogram? And how many people can't pay their mortgages and have their houses taken away?" This contradiction of high consumption and low income forces ordinary people to be extremely frugal, even with basic food and shelter becoming a challenge. A blogger posted a video expressing her feelings.
没钱就是我现在最大的焦虑。
Lack of money is my biggest anxiety. When I came across a rich kid saying, "All I need is a lot of love," I could only wet my charging cable with tears, scrolling through videos while leaking electricity, then quietly wiping away my tears, hoping for good luck in the next video, placing my hopes in the god of wealth. The internet is all fake, only my struggles are real. In today's rapidly developing world of internet technology, what people see online about China is often filled with images of luxury and prosperity. Seafood feasts, wine, luxury cars, five-star hotels. The incomes publicly listed on social media are jaw-dropping. Over time, many people come to believe that this is the real state of China. However, one blogger pointed out that in the dark corners of society, a large number of overlooked people continue to live. Their lives have no relationship to the glamorous world shown online. How many poor people are there in China? Why are so many low-income people so rarely seen in mainstream media? The blogger analyzed that the core issue behind this is the term information bubble, meaning that our vision has already been trapped by the fast-developing technology and sophisticated internet algorithms. The blogger said that internet platforms tend to push the newest, most popular, and most eye-catching content. As a result, we are constantly surrounded by glamorous bubbles, seeing mostly beauty bloggers, financial freedom stories, success tips, luxury cars, and mansions, while ignoring those living in the lower social strata. For example, urban sanitation workers, rural farmers, factory assembly line workers, and those relying on odd jobs like small vendors, disabled people, and the unemployed, they often earn less than 1,000 yuan a month. If no one specifically reminds us, we may never even think or notice their existence. We can only see the surface glamour, while real lives are forgotten by the algorithms. Who would believe that in China, 500 million people have never had a cup of coffee, and 900 million have never flown on a plane? Yet this is the real situation. The blogger also lamented that every Chinese person is like a frog in a well, thinking they can see the whole sky, but unaware that outside the well, so many people live on the margins, out of our sight. In fact, this blogger did not dare to mention the real reason. It's not just the issue of internet algorithms. As everyone knows, the Chinese internet is under strict government control, and the government actively prevents people from seeing the poor. On March 14, 2023, the Chinese Internet Information Office announced the regulation of self-media, banning the publication of tragic videos featuring elderly people, disabled individuals, and children. Occasionally, videos exposing the reality of poverty are quickly censored. For example, a video creator on Bilibili and TikTok, Hu Chenfeng, once shot a video to showcase the purchasing power of a normal citizen's pension in Chengdu. He met a 78-year-old woman from Nanchong with a monthly pension of just 107 yuan. The video shows that the grandmother, who is from Nanchang, lost her spouse and moved to Chengdu with her son. Her son, an engineer, recently lost his job and has 2 children. The 78-year-old grandmother still works as a nanny and makes furniture. She receives no pension and only 107 yuan a month from the rural pension system. She hasn't had meat in a long time and just wanted to buy some rice when the blogger met her on the street. Chen Feng bought the grandmother some rice, flour, eggs, and pork, spending 128 yuan. This video inadvertently revealed the suffering of people at the bottom of society. After the video was posted on Bilibili, Hu Chengfeng's account was banned, and his live stream was shut down. The stark wealth gap is also reflected in official consumption data. According to the National Bureau of Statistics 2024 data, the highest retail sales of consumer goods in 172 available cities was in Shanghai, reaching 1.8 trillion yuan, while the lowest was in Gannan, Tibetan Autonomous Prefecture in Gansu Province, with just 52 billion yuan, a 345-fold difference. This extreme consumption divide reflects China's unbalanced economic development. On one side, the prosperity of large cities, on the other, the underdevelopment of remote areas. Of course, these official figures do not fully reflect the reality. Many experts believe that China's wealth gap and the struggles of the lower class are much more severe than what official data shows. It's widely believed that China's official GDP and other economic data are often beautified when released. On December 12, 2024, Gao Shanwen, the chief economist at Guotou Securities, said during a forum, "We can't know the real GDP growth numbers of China. Personally, I estimate that the actual GDP growth rate over the past 2 or 3 years has been around 2%, even though the official number is close to 5%. Gao Shanwen was later silenced. The CCP strictly controls information. Mainstream media focuses on GDP growth and high-tech achievements in AI and space exploration, but there's little reporting on the real lives of people at the bottom. The figure of 600 million people earning less than 1,000 yuan a month, although mentioned by former Premier Li Keqiang, has rarely appeared in official propaganda since. Instead, the Winter Olympics, high-speed rail, and other image-building projects have become the focus of publicity. One blogger pointed out,
When we call job losses flexible employment, unemployment, waiting for a job, declines, adjustments, struggles, efforts, suffering, inspiration, and inequality, injustice, after the changes in phrasing, it seems like everyone becomes numb.
This linguistic embellishment conceals the suffering of the lower class and weakens the public's perception of the wealth gap. The root of this phenomenon can be found in the system itself. In 2012, Nobel laureates Darren Acemoglu and James A. Robinson published Why Nations Fail, categorizing systems into two types, inclusive and extractive. Inclusive systems emphasize the distribution of political power, protection of law and order, protection of private property, the creation of a fair competitive environment, encouragement of knowledge and technology investment, and allow for everyone to participate and share the fruits of economic development. Extractive systems, on the other hand, are dominated by a few people who monopolize political power and economic benefits. Private property is insecure, and there's little motivation for savings, production, or innovation, making sustained economic development difficult. China expert Wang He said that after the CCP took over, it established an extractive system where the core was public ownership and planned economy. In reality, party and government officials control the nation's resources and economic lifeblood, with institutionalized and long-term divisions between officials and the people. This inevitably leads to extreme wealth disparity. He explained that the economic growth China experienced over the past few decades was due to a fundamental change in its economic system, transitioning from an extractive system to an inclusive one. However, the highly centralized, extractive political system has not changed accordingly, making sustained economic growth difficult. Moreover, the minority benefiting from the extractive system gains enormous profits. The CCP's official class leads China's extractive system, which inevitably causes the wealth gap. This wealth disparity restricts the consumption ability and willingness of Chinese people, leading to insufficient domestic demand, which cannot effectively support economic growth. Unless the CCP's extractive system is broken, there's no way out for the Chinese economy.